Hey, it's James Yancey with the All-Star Academy, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the very best way to create, grow, build, and work a list of prospects for your network marketing business so your business grows naturally, consistently, and predictably. If you only see one training on traditional network marketing from me, this is the one you absolutely deserve to see, because I know this training can help you become an all-star in your business. Okay, so I created this training because as I see it, virtually every network marketer, from the moment they start their business, is told they need to create a list. In fact, most network marketers believe the success of their business is completely based on the size and quality of their current list of contacts. And sadly, I've never actually seen anyone teach the right way to build and work a list of contacts so that it grows naturally and easily. So rather than be like everyone else and simply tell you to make a list, I want you to see and learn exactly how to do it the right way. In fact, because you're even watching this video, I'm going to share with you a free copy of the spreadsheet tool I use to work and grow my list. In fact, I'm going to share with you everything you need to know so you never run out of people to talk to about your business again. Because one of my goals is to help as many network marketers as I can eliminate confusion and overwhelm so that they can see a clear path to success in network marketing. And the only way I know how to do that is to go deeper than surface level training. So I encourage you to stick around and take advantage of my spreadsheet I'll share with you at the end of this video. One last thing before we get started. For this training, I'm going to use a Google spreadsheet. And the reason I use a Google spreadsheet is because Google Sheets is a free spreadsheet tool that comes with every Gmail account. And you can access Google Sheets and your list from any device that allows you to connect to the internet. And my guess is your phone is pretty much always with you. So when you use the Google spreadsheet I've created for you, your list will always be with you. So if you'd rather use another spreadsheet provider, that's not a problem. In fact, you can even implement what you're about to learn using a notebook or a 3-ring binder. You simply want to find what works best for you, because what really makes what you're about to learn effective is the strategy and philosophy I'm going to share with you, not a computer program or the software that I'm using. So please don't get caught up in anything technical, because this strategy can be duplicated even with pen and paper. So with that said, let's get started. Okay, so here we are on my spreadsheet, and the very first thing I want you to notice is that there are 5 spreadsheets connected to this document, because the purpose of this training is not to simply help you make a list of your friends and family members or to make a list of everyone you can think of. The purpose of this training is to help you learn to build a list, grow a list, and work your list so that you develop into a master networker. And to do that, you have to understand that there are 5 lists required to actually be successful in network marketing. And the first list is your master list. And your master list is everyone you can think of, including your friends and family members, as well as everyone you meet moving forward. But you shouldn't have any fear or anxiety when creating this list. And I know a lot of network marketers, unfortunately, are really fearful when it comes to creating a master list because they're unsure of what to do or what to say. But I want to help you remove that fear and anxiety, because ultimately, the purpose of your master list is not to sell or recruit. I'm going to say that again because this is really, really important, and it goes in the face of what most people are taught, because not everyone is a prospect. Okay, so the purpose of your master list is not to sell or recruit. The purpose of your master list is actually to grow. Okay, and unfortunately, as I mentioned, most network marketing training teaches you that everyone's a prospect, and that's just not true. Everyone actually who is on your master list, they're actually a suspect. Okay, and it's you that suspect that some people are interested, and it's probably you who suspect some people are not interested. So the only way you'll identify if somebody's a prospect or not is by actually having a conversation with them. So the purpose of our master list is to learn to build a list so that we can then grow our list, so that we can then work our list, in order to identify people who are perfect for our product, perfect for our service, or interested or open to finding out more about our business opportunity. And we do that by asking questions. So if you're at all uncertain of what to say or what to do or what to ask and how to connect with the people in your list, I highly suggest you pick up my free Ultimate Prospecting and Recruiting Guide. And you can pick that up at the allstaracademy.com/scripts. That's the allstaracademy.com/scripts. In that guide, you're going to learn exactly what it is you need to do to begin working your master list. Because that training literally goes hand in hand with what you're going to learn today in this list building training. So this training is going to teach you how to build a list, how to work a list, and how to begin to grow a business. And it's literally step by step, and it's a really simple process. So because if you've ever heard that network marketing is a sifting and sorting business, what that actually means is you want to sift people from one list to another. Okay, you want to sort people from one list to another. So ultimately what we're going to do in this training is I'm going to show you how to help people discover the list that's right for them. Because some people, they'll literally remain on our master list forever. Some people will become prospects from our master list. Well, they'll start on our master list as a suspect. They'll become a prospect based on the conversation we have. And they could be a prospect for our product or service as a customer. They could also be a prospect for our business opportunity and to become a team member. So people are going to graduate from one list to the next. And ultimately from our list of team members, we're going to identify people who are open, willing, and ready to work their business, and they're going to become leaders. So this process is pretty simple, and all you need to do is learn to ask questions and be comfortable with the idea that some people will remain on our master list forever. Some people you won't even expose. So there's literally nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be worried about, and I'm going to show you this step by step with an example. The next thing I want to cover with you before we get started is that your master list, you want to begin to work that in 15 to 20 minute increments, or in increments of 15 to 20 people. Remember, you can build this business part-time, and most people who get engaged with you will build the business part-time. So you want to be able to work efficiently and effectively, and that's the purpose of this training and everything it is that I'm going to share with you, to give you that power to be efficient and effective so that you can truly begin to create time freedom. The next thing I want to cover with you before we get started is that if you're at all technically challenged, if you're at all intimidated by spreadsheets, you can literally duplicate what you're learning in this training with pen and paper. So you can either use 5 notebooks and create 5 different lists, or you can use a 3-ring binder and use dividers to create 5 lists. So again, we're going to take this step by step. I encourage you to at least try out using the spreadsheet, because I believe it's going to be easier than you think, and I know it's going to help you stay organized and consistent based on what I'm going to share with you today. And remember, I'm going to give you a free copy of this spreadsheet that I've created, because I've created this for you because I believe in you and I know that you can be an all-star in your business. So let's look at an example. Let's do a walkthrough on this list, and we'll start with a few names. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so now that I have a few names on my list, I want you to understand and recognize that you're going to start with the people you know best. So please don't prejudge these people, because our goal is not to scratch names off our list. Our goal is to nurture and grow our list. We literally want to adopt the mindset that our list is alive, and that our job is to cultivate, nurture, and develop it so that it continues to grow. So the very first column that you'll see on my list is suspects. Okay, and so that's where we're going to create our list, and as you can see, that's where I've begun to create my list. So as we get started, I want you to notice that each column heading is labeled and includes a note to eliminate any confusion, so you always know the purpose of each of these columns. So the second column you can see labeled here is market. And this is where we determine which market our contact is in. And in my system, there are 3 markets: your hot market, your warm market, and the cold market. And to keep this as simple as possible, our hot market are the people we know best. And because of this, our hot market is typically made up of our very best friends and our closest family members. Our hot market are the people who we call for a favor, like taking us to the airport or helping us move. And because of this, our hot market is our smallest market. Next, we've got our warm market. And our warm market is everyone we know outside of our hot market. So as a rule of thumb, I consider a warm market contact anyone who knows your name or will remember your name when they see your face. So for most people, their warm market is significantly larger than their hot market. The third and final market is the cold market. And the cold market is by far our largest market because the cold market is everyone we don't know. And in my prospecting and recruiting guide, I go over the three markets in detail, and I'll cover this again in the future because I truly believe that understanding these three markets is the key to building a network marketing business, whether you're using traditional methods like connecting with people and prospecting, or you're building your business on social media, or even if you're using more advanced marketing and lead generating strategies. Everything starts with understanding the three markets, because your ultimate goal is to learn how to heat up relationships quickly and easily so that your relationship is warm enough that talking about business or making a recommendation, suggestion, or even asking prospecting questions makes sense for you and is comfortable for both you and the person you're speaking with. That's why it's really important for us to realize that just because a person is in our hot market, it doesn't mean that the relationship is hot when it comes to talking about business. In fact, you might find that people in your hot market who know you best are actually cold when it comes to talking about business. That's why it's important that you learn to work your list properly and you begin to focus on heating up relationships. So let's go ahead and look at the first person on our list, Jon Snow. Because Jon Snow is a character from one of my favorite shows, Game of Thrones. So I'll go ahead and include him in my hot market. Now let's look at the next category, target market. A target market is a group of people with similar wants, needs, and interests. And sadly, network marketing training, traditional training that is, doesn't teach the hot, warm, and cold market or target marketing. And while I definitely understand and respect the idea of keeping things simple, the truth is, if you're going to create intentional success in network marketing, or really in any business, you have to understand target marketing. Because target marketing gives you a specific audience to attract and pursue. So on this spreadsheet, I've included several of the target markets I pursue and target in my business. And as you can see, I've got friends and family members, business owners, influencers, network marketers, internet marketers, affiliate marketers, realtors, mortgage lenders, insurance agents, financial advisors and accountants, sales professionals, social media influencers, and homemakers. I've even included a category for people who don't fit into any standard target market. Just keep in mind, you may start out with a different target market than what I have listed here, or you may only have a few professions in your target market. The reason you're seeing so many in my personal target market is because I've been involved in financial services, real estate, and the mortgage industry, affiliate marketing, and online marketing. And because I've been involved in these professions, what you're seeing is my business experience reflected in my target market. So you can actually change this spreadsheet to suit your needs, and you can do that by right-clicking at the top of the column and going to data validation, and you can then change and update the category as you see fit. Because there's already a lot of training available on Google and YouTube on how to update a spreadsheet, I'm going to leave that for you to do and discover on your own if you need instruction. For now, it's more important that you know that choosing a target market that makes sense for you is one of the most important things you can do to grow your business. That's why in my partnership program, I go deep into hot, warm, and cold market and how you leverage these three markets to get into your ideal target market. Because every conversation you have is going to be a little bit different. That's why having a target market makes having conversations easier. Because when you have a target market, you can tailor your conversation to a particular group's wants and needs. So let's move on with his example by adding Jon Snow as an influencer. Because in Game of Thrones, Jon's developed into an influential leader because of the challenges he's endured and because of his character and integrity. Okay, so next we're going to determine how to approach your contact and why you're going to expose them. Because your approach will change and vary based on the person you're connecting with and your personal relationship. That's why some people you approach to practice, others you'll approach by asking for a favor, Some you'll approach to try your product or service as a customer by using either a direct or indirect approach, and others you'll approach about your business directly or indirectly. The truth is, you may even be undecided how to approach some of your contacts and decide what to do during the conversation based on how they answer your questions and if you identify a need, want, or desire. And I cover all this in my Ultimate Prospecting and Recruiting Guide, so you'll definitely want to take advantage of that, as well as your ability to take notes on this spreadsheet. And that's why I've got my notes on John here to remind me that I'm asking him to look because of his leadership skill and our mutual respect. I've even included that John may be a great source for referrals because of his influence and that he knows a lot of people. I even got a note that recognizes that he may need funds for a war that's brewing between House Lannister and the White Walkers. So if you watch Game of Thrones, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, I'm sure you're still getting the idea. Next, you'll want to determine what you're going to lead with, and you can lead with your product or service or business opportunity. You can even go into a conversation undecided and ask questions to identify a need. Ultimately, you'll want to go through these first 4 steps before you make contact or start a conversation, so you're prepared to make your first contact. And when you make contact, you want to record the date, so you know when you've begun working the relationship to identify wants, needs, to expose your product, service, or opportunity. So you can record the date very easily. All you need to do is double click and a calendar will pop up like you can see here. This first contact date is really useful over time because as you work your list, you're not going to expose everyone to what it is you have, whether it be your product, service, or opportunity right away. So being able to record how long you've built a relationship before exposing anything can really be useful, especially when you begin to understand the concept of heating up relationships. Because if you're going to become a master recruiter, you will begin to learn how to heat up relationships rather than taking a machine gun approach trying to sell and recruit everyone. Because recruiting is truly a process, not a one-time event. So trying to force feed people on your business or your product or service, trying to force feed them, it just isn't cool and it doesn't feel good. So moving to the next column is going to give you a place that you can take any notes you need so you can remember any important aspects of the conversation or important facts about your contacts. And I want you to see that this note category is expandable so that you can easily take notes and stay organized. Next, you've got a place to rate your suspect's level of interest in learning more about your product, service, or business. And some of the people will become hot prospects and really interested in learning about everything you have to offer. Others will be warm and have a mild interest but still be open to learning more, and others will be cold and have no interest. There'll even be times when you're unsure about a person's interest level right away. So you've got an option here to select unknown. And last but not least, we've got an option here to select chicken, because I know sometimes you might chicken out and not expose some of your contacts because it's normal. It's a normal part of building a business. And simply by beginning to track each of these areas, you're going to be amazed at how quickly you'll begin to identify your strengths, weaknesses, and where you need to improve or where you need additional support and coaching. The next category, social media connection, is really a simple way to track the preferred social media network your contact uses most frequently and where you're connected with, so you can begin to follow up and grow the relationship pretty easily and very effectively. In my Ultimate Prospecting and Recruiting Guide, I cover how to follow up and grow relationships in detail. And as I mentioned earlier, you can pick that up for free at the allstaracademy.com/scripts. Okay, so now it's time to leverage Jon Snow to grow and multiply this list, because each name on your list is what helps you grow your list. And the easiest way to grow your list is by using the 4 rules you're about to learn. And the first rule is the family rule, or BSMD rule. And the family rule is we want to list out the family members of our contact, assuming we've met them. And a really easy to remember acronym for family members is BSMD, because you simply want to write down your contact's brother, sister, son, mother, dad, and daughter. Again, you only want to include people that you've met, or at least talk to. Sure, you can connect with them on social media as well. So here's the cool thing. If we didn't already add these people to our list, we've just grown our master list. And for Jon Snow, he's got 3 brothers, Robb Stark, Bran Stark, and Rickson Stark. I could include another brother named Theon Greyjoy since they grew up together, but I'll leave him out because I don't want that guy as a customer or a team member. If you watch Game of Thrones, you know what I'm talking about. John also has two sisters, Sansa Stark and Arya Stark, and because I've met them on TV, we'll go ahead and include them. We'll even include John's parents, Ned and Tully Stark. So our list is really starting to grow now. And now let's look at the second rule, the mate rule. And the mate rule is identifying your contact's spouse, partner, ex-spouse, or partner, boyfriend or girlfriend, or ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. Again, this assumes you know them because there's no reason to stalk anybody or be creepy because there's plenty of ways to build a list. So for Jon Snow, we've got his ex-girlfriend Ygritte the Wildling and Daenerys Targaryen. So now we've already increased our list by 9 people just by adding Jon Snow to our list and working these rules, and we've still got 2 rules left. So the third rule is the network rule. And the network rule identifies your contact's network, meaning their mutual friends, their coworkers, their boss, assuming you know them, and any organization they may be involved with. The network rule even includes mutual social media contacts because the average person on Facebook has over 338 friends. So you can always expect to have mutual friends that you probably don't have on your list. So for Jon Snow's network, we've got all of House Stark, House Targaryen, the Night Watch, and his best friend Samwell Tarly. So as you can see, we're clearly starting to grow our list simply by applying these rules. And now let's look at the fourth rule, directly asking for referrals by asking, who do you know? Referrals is a really major category of growing our list. So if you're unsure on how to get endless referrals, you definitely want to check out my Ultimate Prospecting and Recruiting Guide because in it, I cover a really simple and effective strategy to grow your list by asking who do you know in a way that makes getting referrals guaranteed. So if you haven't picked up a copy already, definitely do so because you deserve to learn how to get referrals from the people on your list, whether you expose them to your business or not, whether they become a customer or not, or whether they join your business or not. And you do this by literally knowing the right way to ask, who do you know? So by now you should be beginning to see how you can do this same exercise with everyone on your list and literally never run out of people to talk to by being strategic and using a professional, organized approach. Okay, so before we move on, I want to real quick cover something with you because I'm sure some of you may be feeling like this is a lot of work. But I want you to really begin to question that thinking because if we're actually going to create intentional success on purpose, we can't really think like that. What that type of thinking really is an indicator that we need to work on our personal growth and personal development. And because All-Stars, we want to eliminate chance and luck from the success equation. And we do that by being very intentional and specific. Okay. And I wasn't always a very detailed person. I had to learn that over time. And I don't want you to have to go through that pain, frustration, or overwhelm. I want to give you something very simple that you can follow step by step. So if you're at all feeling like this is a lot of work, please begin to question that feeling and please begin to work on your personal growth and development. Okay, so with that said, let's dive back into the spreadsheet. Okay, so next we want to make sure we set a follow-up date because we work our list by staying connected with them. So we set a follow-up date with each person, and again, all you need to do is double-click to pick a follow-up date. And because Jon Snow in this example is a hot prospect, and he's expressed a lot of interest in our business, we're going to invite him to look at our business right now and follow up with him tomorrow. And now we can update the next category, the outcome. And the possible outcomes are exposed with a focus on acquiring a customer, exposed with a focus on the business, or you can label this contact as a customer if they've already decided to try your product or service, or as a team member when they decide to join your team. You also have the option to label them for follow-up or as a person to leverage for referrals. There's even an option to choose not to expose, because it won't always be appropriate to expose your contact to your product, service, or business right away. You've even got an option to no longer contact someone. And as always, you can add notes. Now let's look at updating the final column of our master list, priority. And the priority column is simply another way you can sort your list for follow-up, because some people you want to follow up with them more frequently than others. So this allows you to prioritize your suspects from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest priority. And we'll make Jon Snow a 10 because we've exposed him to the business and because he's a hot prospect that we need to follow up with as soon as possible to collect a decision. Ultimately, we want to begin to track as much as we possibly can, because this is how we identify our strengths, weaknesses, and our fears. Because as we track, we'll naturally begin to identify recurring patterns. And these patterns are how we identify where we need training, help, and mentorship. Because the more conversations we have, the more skill we'll develop when it comes to identifying the people on our list's wants and needs. We'll also increase our experience when it comes to introducing, exposing, and inviting people to learn more about our product, service, or business opportunity. So now that we've gone over the master list and you've learned how to grow your list, I want you to recognize that the first 4 categories, market, target market, reason why, and what to expose, are the important categories to consider before you contact a person. So I want these columns to stand out. So I'm going to make them a light green so you can remember that they're important. Next, we're going to make the 4 rules and follow-up a slightly different color green, because these are the 5 important areas to focus on after we've reached out to our contact. The 4 rules and follow-up are how we grow the relationship with our contacts. And we'll come to learn this firsthand as we continue to use our spreadsheet. Because over time, using this spreadsheet will become an invaluable asset in your business, because you can use it to help you sort, filter, and search your list. For example, once our list begins to grow and starts to get filled out, there may come a time when we want to focus our effort on our hot market contacts. So all we need to do is click the arrow at the top of the column next to market, so a new window of options appears, and then from these options, we simply need to select clear to deselect all markets. Did you notice how all the check marks go away when we clear the values? So now that the values are cleared, we can select hot for our hot market contacts, because that's the only market we want to see displayed. And now when we look at our spreadsheet, we only see our hot market contacts. If we want to go back to seeing all our contacts, all we need to do is go back to the top of the column, click the arrow, and select all. And now we can see everyone on our list again. The best part about this is we can sort and filter any of these categories. For example, if we want to sort by target market to focus our effort on a specific group of people, we can do this really easily. Let's say we wanted to focus on homemakers because we planned something special for that particular target market. We could instantly sort our list by clicking the arrow at the top of target market, then clear all the fields so the check marks disappear. Now all we need to do is select homemaker. And now all we see are the homemakers. And it's really easy to identify and locate Wilma, Flintstone, and Betty Rubble. And when we're ready to go back to our entire list, all we need to do is go back to the top of the column, click the arrow, and select all. And now everything's back to normal. Next, let's really quickly look at sorting our list by date, because that's extremely useful, especially for managing follow-up. To do that, all we need to do is click the date arrow on the appropriate day column and click A to Z or Z to A, depending on how we want to see our appointments. So now you can see our spreadsheet now starts with our upcoming follow-up appointments first, and we can see our past follow-up appointments in descending order. But I want you to keep in mind that once you begin sorting your spreadsheet by date, at some point in the future, the order of each contact will be different. And because of this, there's no reason to try to prioritize your spreadsheet in a specific order, because your order will change the more you sort your list. In other words, another way to look at this is Jon Snow, when we started this, was the first person on our list when we created it. But over time, as our list grows and we continue to sort it by date, at some point Jon's appointment will no longer be the first on our list, because his appointment will have already been in the past. So rather than try to sort your list by a specific order of when you wrote down someone on your list, use the dates and priority to keep track of the important contacts that you want to follow up with. So this takes us to our last tip. And this tip is how to search our spreadsheet. Because once you have a large list, you may need to find someone specific on your list. And the easiest way to do that is to search your spreadsheet by using the search command, Control F. For example, if we wanted to search Jon Snow's family members and we had a large list, all we need to do is simply hold down the Control key, then press F for Find. And instantly a new window will pop up that says Find in Sheet. And inside this window we can write John's family member's last name, Stark, and now John's family members are highlighted, as you can see here. So Control F is a great command to search your spreadsheet as it grows. And I know for some of you this may be a bit overwhelming because using a spreadsheet is new for you. But I encourage you to really try this, take some notes, and don't get caught up in any of the technical functions that I've just shared with you, because you don't have to use them, and you can grow into using them as your list grows. I know if you simply do your best and be consistent, using a spreadsheet will become worth it for you in the long run because it's really easier than you think. And ultimately, if you find that this isn't for you, you can, like I said earlier, duplicate this with notebooks or a binder. Because what I've come to believe and understand is that if you're going to build a successful business, at some point you're going to need a system to help you stay organized. That's why I believe my ultimate list building strategy that you're learning now is absolutely something that can help you as you continue to move forward and grow and develop as a marketer and as a professional networker in your business. So let's move on to the next list, our list of prospects. One more thing before we move on. The reason I want you to really get a solid understanding of these basics is because the training I'm going to share with you on this channel and in the future moving forward is going to build upon this. So I'm going to literally help you go from prospecting and connecting with people to leveraging social media to creating inbound leads so people come to you asking you questions about what it is you're doing and about your business. So if you're at all interested in following along with me through this step-by-step process, I highly encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're on my blog, definitely subscribe to my YouTube letter, and I'd love to hear a comment from you. So if you're getting value from this training, please leave me a comment. If there's something that's left out or you feel like you need clarity on, I'll engage with you in the comments. So definitely leave me a comment and I'll continue to help you. So let's go ahead and go into our list of prospects now. Okay, so since John Snow is our first prospect because he showed interest in a business, we're going to go ahead and add him to this list and set an appointment date, and we can do that by double clicking on the column as we've seen before. And to ensure we have multiple ways to follow up with him, we're going to make sure that we're connected with John on social media if we haven't already. And we want to simply choose the account that we're most likely to connect with John in the future. As you can see here, we even have a place to take note of the URLs of our prospects' social media accounts so that we can easily access them in the future. Next, we've got a place to take note of what we're going to expose our prospect to, our product, service, or business opportunity. And because John Snow expressed interest in the business, we'll select business opportunity. Now we can decide how to share and present our product, service, or business opportunity. And there are a lot of ways to do this. We can do a phone or video call. We could give our prospect a sample of our product or service if that's an option for us. We could get them on a sizzle call that explains our business opportunity, or get them in front of an online presentation. We could do a one-on-one in-person meeting or a two-on-one meeting with our sponsor or someone inside our upline leadership team. We can invite our prospect to a home meeting or hotel meeting. If our company or team does something like a webinar or conference calls, we have that as an option. Or if you personally or your team has a Facebook group, like I like to use, you could expose your prospect to a group that features your product, service, or opportunity. You could also use a three-way call or a three-way chat if you or your team's leveraging chat on social media. You've even got the option for a larger event like a Super Saturday or even your company's annual convention. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and use an online presentation. And now once our prospect has seen the online presentation, we're going to want to track their interest level. And some of our prospects will be hot, others will be warm, some will be cold and have little or no interest in our product, service, or business opportunity. Sometimes our prospects will be unsure and undecided and need time to think about what they've seen and what they've experienced. So some of our prospects' interest level will be unknown. Other prospects will show some interest, but be chicken because they've never sold anything, marketed anything, or they're actually afraid and they tell you they're afraid. Again, what you're learning here is how to track what's happening in your business. Next, you'll want to track if you've asked for referrals and the referrals you've received from your prospect. Just remember, you can always get referrals from everyone, no matter what the outcome is, if you follow the training I've shared with you in my Ultimate Prospecting and Recruiting Guide. Because I want you to really remember, recruiting is a process, not an event. And because of that, we may need more than one exposure. So you need to be prepared to track your next exposure, and if your prospect has had multiple exposures, we can track those in our notes. We can even take notes on how the exposure itself went if something happens that we need to recall later on. So as you can see, we've got all the same exposure options as before, except we've added one, training. Because sometimes after our prospects seen our business, it may make sense to expose them to the support that's available, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with Jon Snow. Because inside the All-Star Academy's partnership program, I've created a 5-step training system designed to take a new team member with little or even no experience in network marketing to home business mastery in 5 steps part-time. Because I believe it's extremely important to have a high-quality training platform in place for new marketers to plug into and for experienced leaders to be able to leverage to support their new people. And I encourage you to get a high-quality system in place if you don't already have one. And simply by following my training, if you don't have a system in place, you'll learn how to put a system in place. And in the future, I may even offer you access to my system just as an additional resource for you. Next, you'll want to track the response your prospect gave you about becoming a customer, assuming that's why you approached them. And your options are yes, no, and maybe for those that need to think about it. And did not ask is an option because sometimes we won't initially ask our prospects to become a customer or to try our product or service. Like in this example, I haven't asked Jon Snow to become a customer because he's expressed interest in the business. Our next column, joining team, helps us track who we presented the business to and asked to join our team. And as you can see here, we have the same options, yes, no, maybe, and did not ask. And in this example, John's interested in joining the business. So we'll set a follow-up date. Our follow-up date will be tomorrow because we always want to keep our momentum going and strike while the iron is hot. Now we've made it to our last column, priority. And just like with our master list, we want to prioritize our prospects from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Because remember, a prospect is someone who's expressed interest in our product, service, or business opportunity. But just because someone shows interest doesn't mean the time is right for them to buy or join. So some people will be in the prospect category for longer than others because recruiting is a process and not an event. So you want to begin to prioritize your follow-up so that you're maximizing your time and connecting with the most qualified people regularly. So since John's highly qualified, we'll go ahead and make him a 10 because he's ready to get involved in the business. And now we can move on to the next list, customers. If this were a real life situation, we'd skip the customer list altogether because John's interested and ready to get started in the business. But let's go ahead for example purposes and quickly look at the customer list because some of our prospects will absolutely become customers and you want to take down their name, their order date, and the status of their account. So you'll want to record if they're a trial customer and simply trying your product or service one time, or if they're on monthly auto ship. You'll also want to track if they've placed their auto ship on hold, and of course if they're a former customer and have canceled their orders. Next, you'll want to record their account number and website handle, assuming your company offers your customers a customer portal to access your product or service. Next, you'll want to take notes based on your conversation as well as your customers' preferences with your products, because having notes on what your customers like best and their specific needs is what will help you create long-term customers. Next, you'll want to be able to set follow-up dates so you can follow up with your customer and make sure they're happy and understand the benefits of your product or service. On this appointment, it'd also be a great time for asking them for feedback for their testimonial and for referrals. So for this example, we'll set a follow-up date for a week from today because no matter what you're marketing, I'm sure your customers will probably have access to their product or service within a week of their initial order. Next, we've got a place to track our customers' referrals, and if we've asked for referrals, like we've already seen. Last but not least, we can track whether we've exposed our customer to our business and their interest level. And we can see here our options are, yes, we've exposed them, no, we haven't exposed them, we need to expose them, and there's even an option not to expose them. And for Jon Snow, since we've exposed him, we'll go ahead and say yes. Next, we want to track his interest level in the business, and John's a hot prospect. And now we can move on to the team members list. And the first thing we need to do is add John and his join date, which is today. Next, we'll track his status, and we can choose from active, inactive, canceled, or preferred customer. The preferred customer is an option for someone who is on your team but not actively building the business. Because there's going to be times when a team member is no longer actively engaged in building the business, and now they've really become more of a happy customer. So I recommend tracking these people as preferred customers because you don't want to follow up with this person the same way as you would someone who's actively working on the team. Sure, you still want to follow up with them from time to time, but I wouldn't recommend really focusing so much on the business. This will become more obvious as you work and build your business. I just wanted to include this as an option and explain it a little bit since it's on our spreadsheet. Next, you can track your team members' web handle for their business site. In my partnership program, I give my team members access to a full training site, as well as other resources that I actually track here. If you or your team has something similar that's specific to your team, you can definitely track that rather than the company website. The choice is really up to you. Next, we've got an option to track the speed at which your new team member wants to build their business. Do they want to build fast and kind of get on a fast track plan if you have something like that in place? Are they looking to build slow, or are they unsure? I highly recommend you take notes on their goals, expectations, as well as why they've joined the business. Because the more you know about their goals, why, and what they want out of the business, the more you can help them get it. So please be sure to track if you have a clear understanding of their goals and why they're in their business, or if you still need to uncover what really motivates them and what they're looking to accomplish. Next, you've got a place to schedule their next training date if you offer some kind of one-on-one coaching to help your team members get started or get to their next rank advancement. Our next column gives you a place to take notes and a place to schedule your follow-up. You can even track who's created their list or been through a training like this one. In fact, feel free to share this video as a resource if you think it can help someone that you know personally. The next category allows you to track your team members' upcoming events if your business is based around home parties or online events. And the last column gives us the ability to track priority when it comes to following up, coaching, and working with our team members. Because personally, I know it can be challenging to try to decide how much time to invest with your team members versus your personal production when you're first getting started building a team. That's why it's important to really begin prioritizing where to invest your time and with who to invest your time as soon as you get started, because you really want to work with where your time is best invested and with who deserves your time. And that's also why systems and group training is so important and critical to your success as well as your team's success. So hopefully you're beginning to see the value of this training and how from the very start you can set yourself up to be an all-star in your business. Now let's look at the last spreadsheet, because as we work with our team, our goal is always to identify leaders. Because the truth is, not everyone who joins your team will step up and become a leader. And it's not your job to even try to turn anyone into a leader. All you can do is try to make the information and opportunity available to people, just like I've done with this training. I can't force you to use this training, this spreadsheet, or do anything. All I can do is make the information available and hope that it sparks something inside you and gives you value. So if you've gotten value from this training, I really would appreciate if you left me a comment. Or if you like this training, to like it and give it a thumbs up. And if you're inspired to share this with someone you think can help, definitely, please go ahead and share it. Okay, so our leadership spreadsheet starts with our team member's name. And as you can see, we have another place for our leaders' goals and why, because their goals and why may have changed, especially if they're truly stepping up to a leadership position. Because your why and goals and your team members' why and goals will always change as you progress through the business. So be sure to do your best to have a clear understanding of what your leadership team member wants, needs, and is looking to accomplish. Next, you want to keep track of their current rank, and you can even take notes on what they need to accomplish to hit the next rank in your company. Next, we have a way for you to track the marketing strategy the leader on your teams are using to build their individual businesses. Because the truth is, there are an endless amount of ways to build a business. You can build your business through traditional networking with friends and family members. You can cold call. Buying leads is also an option. You can build a business on social media or through internet marketing, or you can have a multifaceted hybrid approach like the one I take. There's even an option here if the leaders you're working with are focusing on in-person or online events, because there are a million ways to build a successful business. And you want to begin to support your leaders and empower them to do what they do best. and to do what they enjoy doing. So next, we've got a place for you to schedule and track your follow-up with your leaders, because supporting your leaders is literally one of the most important things you can do. Your leaders are the people who are helping you build your business by building their individual businesses. So you want to be sure and stay in touch with them. Last but not least, you've got a place to take any relevant notes. So as you can see, list building, working a list, and building a business are all steps that really go hand in hand. And that's why I wanted to create this training. I wanted to give you a clearer path of what it looks like to go from just early phases of creating a business to mastery. And I know you can do this. I know you can be an all-star in your business. It simply takes consistency. If you can commit to this program, and if you can commit to following this spreadsheet and literally just filling in the blanks, you will build a business. So to get access to the spreadsheet, all you need to do is go to the allstaracademy.com/list to claim your free copy of this spreadsheet. Again, if you know somebody who can benefit from this training, be sure to share it with them. So before I end this training, I want to acknowledge you for staying focused to the very end. I also want to give you some best practices, because if you're serious about increasing your income, building your network, and ultimately building your net worth, you'll need to understand the income producing activities you'll want to focus on as a part of this training. Because all you need to do is begin to grow and sort your master list daily, and ultimately move people from list to list. Because if your goal is to simply add 5 new people to your master list daily and connect with at least 2 people per day to build a relationship while identifying their wants, needs, or desire for your product, service, or business, you can then simply move them through a process and from list to list. And I know if you choose to do this consistently, you will begin to build a business part-time. Just know that mastering this process and mastering connecting with people is an art, and it'll be different for every person. Nobody's journey is the same. So please don't compare yourself to anyone else's journey, because everyone's starting point is going to be a little bit different. Everyone's desire, goals, and time they have available to work and build their list is going to be a little bit different. Just know that I know you can do this in as little as 15 to 20 minutes per day. If you do it in small increments, you will begin to build a business. And if you add 5 people to your master list each and every day, and you begin to reach out and sort these people by their wants and needs, you will begin to build a list of prospects, customers, and ultimately team members. Because I know when you use this system alongside my ultimate prospecting and recruiting guide, you will begin to see results in every aspect of your business. Because simply by plugging into this training, you already know more than 90% of network marketers worldwide. And now that you know more, it's time to do more, because all stars, we do more than the average person is willing to do. So I encourage you to do more, be more, give more, and ultimately you'll have more, because you will have earned it. So thanks for sticking with me to the end of this training. If you like this training and you want to connect with me, if you want to learn how to build their business online on social media, or if you want to have inbound prospects seeking you out, connect with me on your preferred social media network. I'll leave links beneath this video so you can connect with me personally if you'd like to. I'm Yancey. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being an all-star.